Hey, it's not Friday. It's not 2 o'clock Eastern, but the show must go on. No, wait. Yeah, it's not. It's 3 o'clock Eastern. The show must go on. We're back at a non-standard time. We got Slim Down Travis. We got Kim McKinley. We got Doug Dawson. We'll introduce them in a sec. I'm Chris Mitchell at the Institute for Local Self-Reliance. It's been, 4 weeks since we were last on, I think. I've been living actually with producer Jordan, who's behind the scenes making all this happen. I've been keeping him busy in airports. He and I have been traveling all over Texas and Southern California, doing work, believe it or not. And but we're back. We got a bunch of topics. We're going to talk about some of the outages and how the internet's getting too brittle. We're going to talk about broadband trends, what's been happening with speeds in people's homes. We're going to talk about NTIA cutting the red tape. And if you believe that, maybe I'll try to sell you a bridge while we're at it. We've got BEAD awards for the states, depending on time, which we'll probably have because our guest appears not to be able to join us after all. We've got some other topics related to frickin' lasers, which I promised you. I thought we were going to talk a lot about frickin' lasers. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about frickin' lasers. But when we get to the BEAD session, we do have one recurring special guest, our favorite, and she doesn't go by Alexa. It's Alexis, and we're going to bring her on in a little bit. So let's dive into it. That's the agenda. But let's kick off with where's Travis today? Travis, where are you joining us from today?
Good day, Mr. Mitchell. I am in Eufaula, I think it is pronounced, Oklahoma, coming to you live, much to Chris's chagrin, over Starlink. So, and
somehow I'm an opponent of Starlink, huh? Okay.
Well, what's interesting about today, though, this is my first Starlink day where I'm in heavy rain.
Okay. So you look good so far. I mean, you look very good right now.
Yeah. So we've been through the snow. Now we're in the rain. So I'll keep you posted.
Okay. And we got Kim McKinley, who I don't know. I might have edged you out, but Kim's on the road all the time too. How you doing, Kim?
I'm good. I just got back from Orlando. I
mean, anyone who's left Orlando is feeling good. I mean, that's just the way it works.
It really is. But what I'm really disappointed in is that we have Travis Carter without a subtitle. We should just put retired underneath that one for him.
I thought we'd put tiring, but retired.
That's fair.
Kim, what's going on in the construction world? Do you want to give us a quick update from TAC Broadband?
I think that the construction world is really excited that the BEAD money is at least in 18 states has been approved, but it is a very busy time. I was talking to some of our team today, and they were like, we feel for the first time in years that we're seeing some stabilization in the broadband space. So we're excited and ready to dig some holes. They don't really let me do that yet, but I'm looking to get into a driller one of these days. So a lot going on, and there's nothing other going on than being on Connect This, right, Chris?
Yeah, no, there's nothing going on. And we'll move over to Doug, who is the epitome of stability. Welcome to the show, Doug. How you doing?
Well, I think the show goes on the road the day Kim is on the driller. So I think that we just got to get a camera there.
They let me use a shotgun the other week. So now they let me use a shotgun.
You look good in those overalls. You look damn good in those overalls.
I was those Carhartt overalls and camo sweatshirt. I'm ready for it. Okay,
so had those articles of clothing been worn before, out of curiosity?
No, absolutely not. I had to buy all of the clothing for my hunting expedition, but keep going.
I've got an old pair of Carhartt overalls I wore back when I worked in a warehouse, and I can still fit into them if I hold my breath for a real long time. But Doug, how are things going with you down in Asheville?
It's going well. Asheville had their 1-year anniversary of the hurricane, and we had a giant block party and drank a lot of beer, and life is pretty good here right now. So. Yep.
That's
excellent.
What I love about the South. They celebrate everything. You celebrate a 1-year reunion of a hurricane or an anniversary of a hurricane.
Everything is a party. Yes, exactly. So, yes.
Well, we're going to talk about several of your stories, Doug. We're not going to lead off with one, but we're going to come to it pretty soon from the Pots and Pans by CCG. Always a recommended read. I did want to start off with some culture. And this is comes to us from superfan Ruben, who shared this with me. and I think Jordan's gonna pop her up, and we're gonna be quiet, and I'm gonna resist the urge to do the white man dance or response. I'm just gonna. We're not hearing it this time. We just did this test and it worked perfectly. We're going to be coming back in a second.
But in the meantime, yes, Ruben, they let me use a gun. And nobody
I mean, I
got
do have the
killed,
lyrics.
so-
Should I just freestyle it, you guys?
Now I want to know what she did with the gun. What did you shoot?
I shot at something.
Ooh.
Maybe,
Hold on, here we go.
maybe the sky.
I need the
There we go.
bandwidth, the gigabits. All of the code, don't be ridiculous. I'm riding fiber, no cokes, fiber, no weak wits. I'm talking full duplex, 3 million pictures of your mom every second. Oh, I need the bandwidth, the gigabits. Show me the funny videos, call them gigabits. I need the bandwidth, not just megabits. I got stuff to do and I can't wait for it. You talking 10 by 2, it's not the 90s. Take that we through button, step by mommy. You talking LTE, now remind me. Who the hell let you near Technotics? Just 20 mags up. You tripping, can't say nothing about that opinion. Let me tell you a story about this guy named Jim who's slinging microwaves and correcting my opinion. If he can't sell it, you don't need it. At least that's what he says. He a nitwit.
It's extremely well done. This
Love
is
this.
Ruben pretending that it was AI. I mean, actually, I'm sure he developed it by himself in a studio. I am curious, Ruben, was that like a few prompts or a lot of prompts? I don't know if you can tell us in the chat. I would be curious. But any reactions to that?
Oh, I love the lyrics. They were awesome.
The
Yes.
giggle bits.
Yes.
Yes.
I thought
good.
it was very well done, Ruben. Well done.
Can we share the link?
Kudos to you.
Yeah. If Jordan, you want to throw that in the chat? We'll get the link out there. I definitely appreciate there's a few things like Jordan picked up as well, which was the way it pronounced coax. There's some artistic license, but that's what you need in music, So definitely appreciate that. I feel like there's a lot more of that coming. There's right now we're more limited by, I think, our creativity than the AI creativity, if that's what you want to call it. I don't even know what you call it. Travis?
Ruben, I challenge you. Make a Chris Mitchell version. There's
Oh,
that would be a classic. In
we did the AI book of my life. Yeah.
a country western version of Mr. Mitchell's life. Called the Tribal Broadband Boot Camp.
I would like it done in Chris Christopherson's voice. That would be my ideal.
Sailing or whatever it was, right? I love it.
We, the Institute for Local Self-Reliance, we did release a report this week. Actually, so Jordan, throw that in the regular comments too, so people could see it. But we released a report. Our colleague Jess Auer, who I assume she's going to be on Community Broadband Bits along with some folks talking about this, but I'll see if we can get her on a special Connect This discussion. She released a report that's entitled "How Small Towns and Public Partnerships Transformed Internet Access in Western Massachusetts," which is about how some 40 or 50 towns considered something. They were going to build this fiber optic network jointly, and the state was supportive. And then some consultants convinced the state that it would never work. They were foolish to think they could ever get a good take rate. 19 of the communities persevered. They have a fiber network that they built in partnership with a local municipal provider, Westfield Gas and Electric. And Travis, would you like to take a stab at what their take rate is in most of these towns?
How rural are we talking? Like super rural?
It's pretty rural.
Oh, I'm probably going to go 60 to 70%.
90, like 80 to 90. And these nitwit consultants that at the time, so I was paying attention to this, and I was occasionally offering advice to these folks. I remember basically all the moments they went through, and it was crushing when these consultants from Boston and New York City who know all this stuff so well were just basically talking about how these hicks are never going to adopt internet access. It's ridiculous to think you could have a take rate north of 70%. And just one of those things that just drives me crazy looking back on is all these people. I mean, these are consultants that are just frustrating. I'm in the lieu of doing a rant. Let me say that I just heard on one of the shows that I listened to it's on the Prof G podcast. They have a daily show about the markets, and they talked about the host starts off with a little joke. He said that like 25% of ants in every colony don't do anything, and scientists are trying to figure out what purpose they serve, and they think they're going to figure it out. They've narrowed down that at least the title of these ants is consultant. So
well, okay, but I'd rather have a consultant who comes in with a lower take rate or saying that you're going to get lower than these people who are coming in with these egregious take rates that we're seeing out there. So, I mean, I get it.
You want an accurate consultant. Like, I mean,
yeah, but who can guarantee? Because these rural areas this is where I see some of the issues happening. You can see a 90% take rate in some of these rural areas, like when Travis just asked that really important question, but you're never going to get a 90% take rate in an urban area.
You're right in general. I'll say this, that the statistics are skewed in that when you have a town vote and most of the town shows up to vote yes, raise my property taxes for this investment, there's a pretty good sign that they're going to take service from the network. So, when it's like when like there's one person that votes no out of the 80% of the people in the town showing up at the meeting, and I don't mean like 80% of 10%, I mean like everyone's freaking there. Like, so I don't know, Doug, you want to defend consultants quick? We're not going to spend a lot of time on this.
Well, no, I would agree with her. I mean, the fact is there are rural markets that only get a 6% penetration. You just got to know your market. But if they had a vote and everyone raised their taxes, they're all buying. Yeah. So,
yeah.
Which would lead me to believe that there was probably very little there already, because
there was nothing there.
Yeah, Verizon was very honest, and so like this is the thing, right? If you look at AT&T or Comcast, they look at these areas that they're not going to build, and they would say, "Well, we're going to work our ass off to stop you from building." Verizon in the Northeast was respectable in most of the instances that I saw. They said, "We're not going to build here. Not only are we not going to get in your way and lobby against you, we're actually going to try and work with you on the pole attachment stuff." They were pretty cooperative in that case, which is not what we see everywhere. At least that's my recollection.
Yeah, and Verizon decided years ago they did not want rural, which is very interesting how they're buying Frontier. So, yeah.
Every few years, the merger and acquisitions lawyers need to get a fee, Doug.
Seriously.
So we released this report. Jess did really great work. It tells the story, and I don't know. It's like it's something that's really provides some hope that like being involved, volunteering in your community, getting to know your neighbors can make a difference. So we're excited about having that out. And we're going to talk briefly about outages. So I don't know if y'all noticed, but like, Cloudflare was down, AWS was down, Down Detector went down off and on, which is a problem. And I just wanted to throw out there to see if anyone had any idea, because I don't feel like this is the sort of thing you can just like pass a law to be like, thou shalt have more reliability in but like we have such centralization of services in AWS and Cloudflare. How do we get to a point where we're not reliant on these companies based on where we are right now? So Doug, let me go to you first.
Well, first off, we can't. They control everything. I mean, between those about 5 companies, everything runs through them. But I talked to several network engineers who work at those big companies this week. What they told me was these companies have all laid off live experienced techs with 20, 25 years experience, and they've really gone to some AI stuff. And the AI is very good at diagnosing the problem, but here's what they said the problem was in fixing it. AI has no creativity, so if it's got a 40-step checklist, it goes 1, then 2, then 3, then 4.
Reboot the modem.
And if it gets to 13 and it finds a problem, it doesn't go to 14. It goes 1, 2, 3, 4. And a smart 20-year experienced guy would start at 17. He goes, here's what the problem is. The problem they had to cause this outage was a real simple, DNS problem. And it's so, that an experienced person would have gone through no steps. They would have just gone in and fixed it in 20 minutes. So we've actually gone backwards. I mean, this is the 3rd or 4th outage now where AI has taken it forever to come back up. We got to, it's not ready to do that function yet. So,
Kim?
These guys are all about saving money, and that's the problem. So.
Well, I guess that's what I was going to ask is what were the outages? Do we know why the outages were caused? But you just said it was a DNS issue, which
the last 3 or 4 major outages were simple problems. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think this is the downfall of when you're switching from human to machine labor, right? Like you're going to have these issues. Can it get fixed? Yes, but right now it isn't. So this is the reality we have.
And I don't know, Travis, like, as a person who thinks about like business and that sort of a thing, like, is there no hope? Like Doug just said, I mean, there's the whole reason the internet developed the way it did in the early years was by smart people who said we should not have single points of failure. And so can we not figure out a 5-year plan to start routing around AWS and that, or are they just too dominant now?
Well, first off, I don't think we really appreciate the complexity of these systems. I mean, they are highly, highly, highly complex. But Doug is correct. I think at least the last half a dozen have been DNS-related issues, which historically, before DNS, it was all denial of service issues. And, that has been addressed. I think DNS, the way that it's architected and engineered is very clever, but it does introduce the opportunity for, I hate to say it, clerical errors, which is what ends up probably happening. I do find it interesting, though, that they'll have such widespread outages from DNS. I do find that odd, but I'm not really familiar with how.
Do you think that this can be do you think this will be fixed with AI learning more of these issues, or no?
No, I think it's just going to be more processes and procedures around making DNS changes. Yeah. Is my guess, but these are highly complicated systems, and quite frankly, I'm on the other end of the spectrum. I'm actually pretty impressed with how much they do on a day-to-day basis in comparison to how many technical issues there actually are.
Well, that's a good point. I mean, they do run pretty smoothly most of the time.
Oh, and the amount of transaction volume. I mean, it's hard for us to fathom.
Yeah. I'm not going to argue that you're wrong about that, Travis, but our expectations are so low at this point. Like it used to be the telephone system would fail like once in a lifetime. Like, it was like,
but the telephone system is very simple compared to these systems.
Right. And it was like this. I mean, like the question is, do we need this kind of complexity? Like, what are we getting from this? Is it also that we can do we need this complexity because we need to like rebuild a web page across 200 different servers in order to make sure that we track every last thing about someone to dump all this information into databases? Like, what are we actually doing that is requiring all this complexity?
Well, if as I've been traveling our fine country, and as if you notice that 99% of the people that you run into are basically doing this all day, yes, the answer is yes. It's actually kind of a sad state of affairs when you look around and you kind of see, people at dinner, they're both on their phones. Families at dinner, they're all on their phones. And that's
how all my dates go. That's how all my dates go.
They're all feeding out of these data centers. Yeah.
So I'll just say, like, I hear people saying that all the time, and I don't know, I don't get out a whole lot, but like Jordan and I just spent a bunch of time in restaurants. I didn't see that. And so I don't know, like, and I'll say that, like, I am a person that I think other people see me walking down the street playing Pokemon Go, and they're like, oh, it's so sad. This guy's walking down the street with his nose in his phone. I'm like, yeah, okay, fine. But, but like when I'm with other people, I'm generally, I don't know. I have not observed that behavior as much as I've heard people comment upon it myself. All right, I want to move on. I do want to come back to that at some point. I feel like we should come back to this topic when we have some time, perhaps with a guest, see if we can get, someone that disagrees with the three of you, that knows something unlike me. So Open Vault has released its study. We've talked about this from time to time. Doug, let me just ask you if you just want to provide the quick update, because one thing struck me about all this, and I'm curious how you all react to that. So what's changed, Doug, in terms of how people use internet access?
Well, I mean, every quarter now since they've been tracking it, we use a lot more broadband on average for the whole country every quarter. And so in this last quarter, houses used, 50 gigabytes more than they did a year earlier. That's a lot. I mean, that's a lot of extra usage. So, so what they said was the average household now downloads 592 gigabytes a month. They upload 48 gigabytes a month. That number shocks people. They're like, what the heck am I uploading? But 48 gigabytes is a lot of data. I mean, it really is.
Yeah, that's how much.
The average cell phone uses 20 gigabytes a month. So that's twice what a normal average cell phone uses in a whole month. So it just keeps marching up. I mean, back in like 2018, which wasn't that long ago, it was 200 gigabytes a month, and now we're up to 600. It's just an amazing growth, and that just that means the whole network, as Travis just said, everybody's on it. The whole network is really full of busyness. I mean, it's a lot of, add it all up, and it's just an amazing amount of data.
You commented specifically on the upload changing more significantly.
Yeah, the upload is just, I mean, the upload, what did I say? That it's like, we're uploading like 5 more CD, like full-length movies a month than what you did a year ago. It's like,
well, I think it's because of all those TikTok creators, Doug. It's all the TikTok.
I think it is. I think
that are out there making videos. But why? First of all, Doug, 7 years ago to a lot of people is a long time. Unlike us old people who don't think 7 years ago was a long time, but 2018 was a decent ways away. But why is this shocking? I think that when you go into anybody's house, what doesn't use the internet anymore?
Right.
No, you're right, Kim. On multiple things. I think one of my new shirts I purchased 7 years ago. So that's right. The thing that I got out of this, and this is something, Travis, you and I have talked about for so long, which is how people use their upload. And you and I looked at your stats at different times over the years to get a sense of how people were using it. And we're hopefully going to have Matt Larson on in our next show and talk a little bit about his experience. Looks like he's going to be getting a BEAD award in Nebraska or Colorado or Wyoming, I'm presuming, one of the states that he operates in. And anyway, the argument I always had with him is that he'd say people don't use upload, and I would be like, yeah, they're on connections that won't allow them to upload. They don't upload. And I just had to ask Doug. So Comcast has done a ton of mid-split upgrades, and we have much more fiber now that people are on. Is it not likely that people are just uploading because they actually can? And it's always been a case that people didn't upload because they couldn't?
Well, actually, I didn't put it in my blog, but this Ookla report compared what happens when the Open Vault, when they upgrade from DOCSIS 3.0 to 3.1, they saw the upload just explode. So when people can't upload, they don't upload. That's what that report showed. Yes, exactly that. So
yeah, I mean, when I had limits on my connection from Comcast, I did not pay for online backup. As soon as I got rid of those limits, that's the first purchase I made to get rid of any sort of threat from malware and everything else. Go ahead.
I was going to say, go ahead.
Travis hadn't had a chance in a little bit.
No, but let's also, as you look at Windows 11 and the new iOS, and I'm assuming Android, and Chris can comment on his Windows Phone operating system, but all of the operating systems now are doing iCloud, OneDrive, those type of things to really encourage offsite kind of backup. And so I think you're two things I see, and Doug, it'd be interesting to get your opinion. You know what I've noticed? The streaming platforms no longer, they used to pause after a certain period of time and say, are you still there? They don't do that anymore. So if you fire up YouTube TV, it'll just play. And
some of them still do it.
Yeah, I just haven't seen it because I'm wondering if that's contributing, that and a combination of the manufacturers that the operating systems out of the box really promoting, kind of cloud storage.
That was my question. I think that's it. My question is it really consumer behavior, or is it the marketplace driving consumer behavior?
But it's still consumer behavior, because I do what Chris does. I now back up everything I do. And 5 years ago, I didn't back up anything I did. So, I backed it up locally, but yeah.
Yeah, because I think everybody is being pushed to the cloud, whether you like it or not. And I don't even think if people even understand they're using the cloud, it says back up, and they're like, well, it's backing up somewhere. So, or do they even know they're using that upload? I guess is my point.
I'd say a lot of people have no idea they're backed up in the cloud. I'm positive of it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think this is the better behavior. And this is a sense of the way the network had been architected, and the way many WISPs still operate, the way some fiber ISPs work, and the way the old cable networks work. It wasn't an option, and so Kim makes a comment about the marketplace. I'm much happier with the marketplace coming up with innovation than service providers just stifling any opportunity for it.
Well, the irony from service providers is their upload channels are pretty idle compared to the download. So you can almost do the uploading for free. It was the whole thing with wireless and with DOCSIS where they did split distributions, and it wasn't a full symmetrical bandwidth like you get across fiber. So you're starting to see some of the legacy stuff. But, the applications will always follow the capacity. And, it's really convenient to do your cloud backup now, for lack of a better term, as long as DNS is working.
Right. Okay, I want to bring on Alexis Shruby, or as my assistant on my phone says, Alexis Shrub. So welcome back, Alexis. If there we go.
Hey, y'all, breaking news. This just happened. It just came through. Texas was approved just while we were on this call. The NTIA has a press release. I didn't actually have time to read it because I was too busy finding my cowboy hat. Yippee-ki-yo-ki, Texas, congratulations, because I am a resident of the great state of Texas. So.
Was it close to what they had recently published? Because we looked at it, and you could tell the areas of Texas that vote the right way seem to be getting more fiber than the areas that vote the wrong way.
The right way. The right way.
The right way works multiple ways there. So
yeah, it's a double entendre. No, I couldn't tell you. I don't have the breakdown memorized. I'm so sorry. And to be honest with you, I'm going to read off this clipboard for the beat updates, because the thing is, I have been committing things to memory just because I like doing so, because I like having conversation and trotting it out whenever I can. But things have been moving so fast. I commit something to memory. 48 hours later, it changes. I'm wrong. Then I look like a dingus. So I figured I'd just come on here and be a dingus and read.
Okay. Well, I was dingus, and we're gonna let Kim ask a question quick.
Really quick. Who has a what is that thing that you have in front of you? Is it
Clipboard.
The
Clipboard?
what is it? Yeah, clipboard. Who the heck uses a clipboard? Speaking of 1985,
I have a whole collection of clipboards. Actually, I really like them. You can beat people with them. You know, it makes you look official. You walk around with it and people are like, oh, she's in charge. So
okay, that's all I had.
Yeah, it's a psychological trick to enhance the efficacy of about what I'm about to rattle off, really. So, I mean, doesn't it make me look official?
Yes.
Cool. All right. So just like Kim mentioned earlier, we got 18 states and territories approved. Are you ready for the approvals? Here we go. Louisiana, Wyoming, Iowa, Georgia, Arkansas, Delaware, Maine, New Hampshire, Connecticut, South Carolina, North Dakota, Hawaii, Montana, Rhode Island, and Virginia, as well as the territories of American Samoa, Guam, and the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. Of the 56 total eligible states, 53 have submitted their final proposals. Only one state, Louisiana, has already signed its award amendment, meaning that it has passed NIST and has access to begin deployment.
I would have liked you to sing it like Yakko Warner and Animaniacs, but I'll take your presentation. That was pretty good.
I actually did. You know what? I love that Animaniacs episode, and I thought, man, how could I turn this into that joke about the states? But didn't have enough time. I mean, you only invited me yesterday, so next time give me a little prep, and like I can conjure up a band right back here, and we'll be singing it.
I have no doubt.
I'm dead serious. So are you ready for some top 10 outliers and interesting facts?
Please.
Yes.
Okie dokie. So Montana is the national outlier for satellite by a mile. 65% of its BEAD-funded locations will be served by LEO satellites. Now, of course, everything is subject to change because we live in interesting times. Don't take everything that I'm saying literally. These are estimations based on the information that was available to me at the time that I looked it up. So,
fun fact, though, Alexis, the Trump administration is so efficient that they could sign up for it even before they got the money. So that's really good government work there.
I'm glad my mouth is full. All right. Only 20% of Montanans are slated to receive fiber from this grant program. South Carolina is nearly 50-50 split between fiber and satellites, 49 LEO, 47 fiber, 3% cable. It's kind of only one of the states where satellite outpaces every terrestrial technology combined. Wyoming leans heavily on LEO as well, 44% LEO, 33% fiber, 27% fixed wireless. And it's kind of one of the states that's leading the mixed technology bag. Of course, I think Texas is in that bucket too, but we'll have to see. Guam is the actual opposite extreme. It's pretty much essentially 100% fiber. It only looks like a handful of locations are not, which is great because Guam gets a lot of weather, man, you know? So North Dakota also joins that. And I've always long had a crush on North Dakota and its preference for fiber. Did you know, fun fact, if you had a random chance of just buying a home with fiber and getting that fiber connection, that your best chance would be in North Dakota? Fun fact for the day. Okay. So the Northern Mariana Islands approves a BEAD plan that is.
You would also freeze in that home because it's so freaking cold in North Dakota. But besides that,
North Dakota, I feel like I just want to, again, Matt Larson will be back. North Dakota has an infrastructure bank. North Dakota has a lot of really great policies. North Dakota is a pretty good state to live in, frankly.
North Dakota is so cool. You're right.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I could do, like, North Dakota is one of my interesting policy special interests. And someday I would love to do just a deep dive on all the cool things about North Dakota and the focus that they have on localism. But, you know, we're digressing. Pay attention to North Dakota. Don't overlook them just because of the cold. But they don't give a hoot that you don't, you know, that we don't look at them. They're taking care of themselves. And I think that's really awesome. Okay, what was I talking about? Northern Mariana Islands. Every BEAD funded location will get fiber. American Samoa is nearly fiber only as well, which is really cool. Connecticut and Delaware quietly have some of the highest cable shares. So Connecticut is 22% and Delaware is about 20%. So two of the only states in the batch with double-digit cable proportions, interestingly. Iowa stands out for its high fixed wireless share. So we've got 41% fixed wireless, 51% fiber, and 9% LEO, one of the largest fixed wireless deployments in BEAD. Louisiana, our only state that has passed NIST and signed, sealed, delivered, ready to spend the cash. We got a 5-way split: fiber, LEO, cable, fixed wireless, and a residual category. One of the only states where all major broadband technologies appear in those meaningful percentages. So that is the latest update. I don't know what Texas has broken out into. What do we got?
Well, we have a guy on our comments who wants to hear about Maine. So
Maine represent. Well, okay. So I do actually, Maine might be my number 2. It might be a tie actually between my two favorite states because Maine has always had a broadband champion sitting somewhere at the state level and somewhere at the federal level.
was his name Ruben?
It was Ruben the whole time. Let me see if I can find in my statistics what Maine is. Here we go. We got 84%, about 85%, 84.85% fiber, and about 14.9% LEO. So 15% LEO there for Maine. Didn't necessarily fall into any of the outliers comparatively, but that's still a pretty high proportion of fiber, which is great news for, you know, hilly, rocky, mountainous, and treed place.
What's the fixed wireless percentage out there?
The fixed wireless is under 3%, I think.
I think it's interesting because it was under Governor LePage on the order of like 8 or 9 years ago. I think that's roughly the order. He announced that they would never need to do anything because Red Zone was going to solve everything with LTE. And I'm pretty sure Jim, the CEO there, was very adamant about that. They were going to get rid of all access challenges in Maine with LTE. So it is interesting to me that Jim, who I should say is kind of a polarizing person. Some people really quite like him and what he's done. Other people find him to have been someone who, let's just say, hasn't delivered on what his mouth has offered all the time. So it's interesting to me that they're one of the states that has fewer fixed wireless connections in the BEAD program.
Let's see, any other interesting statistics or curiosities that we have here? Georgia is about 76% fiber and 11% LEO. Arkansas has a great split. About 74% fiber, around 16% LEO, and around 7% fixed wireless. Who else?
Did you list Mississippi? I kind of missed it in all of that.
Mississippi, hold on, hang on.
Mississippi and Arkansas have been doing such great work with their electric co-ops. And so I was just curious. And so you just listed Arkansas is doing very well. If people remember, we talked before about the Diamond Network that the co-ops had built for backhaul across the state. And the electric co-ops really stepped up in Arkansas, despite having a very challenging area to build. The state has also been very supportive about investment in broadband without having a kind of an ideological edge to it.
So Mississippi hasn't. It's waiting in the wings here, but okay. we might get, you know, maybe it'll be Thanksgiving special and we'll start to see another kind of wave or tranche. I was actually really surprised. You know, the rumor mill has been the only way that we all have been just trying to get a hold on things. And in particular, because things change so fast, everyone in this industry doesn't want to put more labor cycles into things that we'll have to redo at some point. And so the
This is going to be a theme.
I know, right? Yeah. Irony of ironies, me uttering this out loud, but that information pipeline is kind of all we have. So there were rumors milling around that there would be 4 states approved, that being Virginia, Louisiana, West Virginia, and Arkansas. West Virginia was not approved, but this whole big tranche came through like a marble through the snake. So who knows if we'll start to see things trickle or not. There was a great piece put out by Doug Adams the other day that clarified for everyone in this ecosystem that 90-day shot clock to review final proposals was just the NTIA's 90 days, not NIST's time to delivery.
Just remind people why that matters. What is NIST?
NIST is the national, what does the I stand for? Institute for Standards and Technology.
I believe so.
And NIST is a kind of arbiter and protector from fraud, waste, and abuse, and making sure all of our grants do what they say that they will. So NIST actually doesn't look at the nitty-gritty on the technology, the engineering, or anything like that, but rather they look into the details of the grant itself and whether or not it can and should run per the financial parameters that are set out at it. So they're not looking, like when you hear standards and technology, you think, oh, they're looking at how I'm going to measure. Oh, they're looking at like what, but that's not it at all. It's truly the nitty gritty of the details in the grant itself. And they should have the interagency agreement, depending, should be about 20 days for them to review. So, I'm hopeful that if Texas was approved right now, that we should see some stuff shake out before Thanksgiving weekend, meaning that everyone in this industry, including myself, will be working all the way through every single holiday until we die.
We used to like you, Alexis, before that answer that I'm going to be working through the holidays. But do you think that we're seeing this right now because of that we reopened the government? Do you think we would have seen this a month ago if we hadn't closed the government down for a month? Or what is your thoughts on that?
They kept working.
Yeah. So exactly. They, as far as I've heard from folks on the inside and from our federal program officers, is that they were exempted and they were working the whole entire time. Now, I will say that NIST, only a certain proportion of the folks at NIST were exempted based on a time allotment. So that could have been the holdup getting things through. But also, like approvals and things like that, when the government opens, indeed, I'm assuming we've just got that kind of that distribution pipeline that might have come out day by day, and it did stop it, put a pause on it, and then it all kind of came through. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
NIST
also either confirmed or denied.
NIST also had a RIF. They lost about 15 or 20% of their employees back in March, so they got downsized. And it's not a very big place. I mean, it's only got a couple hundred people in it. So yeah.
Doug, any reaction to all that?
Well, we're not done till we're done. So there's still rumors flying around of other changes coming to BEAD, believe it or not, and
who wouldn't believe it? I mean, what suckers out there thinking this is done?
I know. And then the next thing the states have to do is get contracts signed, and I think we're going to find some ISPs unable to sign the contracts because that's when they have to show they actually have a letter of credit, they actually have the borrowing. So I think some folks will fall on the floor when they go, I don't have my financing after all I thought I would. So that's the next step.
Why is that, Doug? Why is that? Why wouldn't they have their financing happen?
I don't know, but I literally talked to someone the other day who hadn't even started to look for it yet. It's like, you got to be kidding.
Yeah, but like, let's be clear about this, right? Like, it's not just like, I mean, I think the question, Kim, you're sort of like, they've had all this time, but at the same time, like, like you don't just, it's not like the bank comes to you and they're like, all right, like, here's some money available to you. And if you want to use it now, fine. But if you want to use it in 16 months, fine. Like there's a time period. And the federal government, the Trump administration came in and they were like, hey, everyone stop. Like, we're not going to do anything for like 9 months. And so everyone that had their money lined up had it for the wrong window. You can't just start and stop this stuff on a dime. And like, you would have been a sucker if you actually thought you'd be getting money this year still. And I think you are a sucker if you think you're getting money this year still.
Okay, but I'm going to argue this, and you can say that the Trump administration did nothing for 9 months. but we're just barely into almost the second year of the Trump administration, and he did something that the Biden administration couldn't
That's
do. in the
ridiculous.
time-
That's so ridiculous. It's like saying that like you're building a massive train line and it's not done on time. You have all this track that's laid out. Another company comes along and finishes up and like, oh, we should have gone with them to begin with. It would have just taken them 10 months to do it. That's a ridiculous comparison.
You're
Travis
wrong.
agrees with me.
So Alexis, so this means that money is actually going to leave the federal government and go to the states. Is that the phase?
It has gone to Louisiana. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Wow.
I think that they delivered it in big sacks with dollar signs on the front of it.
Well, I think it's all pennies because they're getting rid of the last.
Oh, that's what happened to all the pennies, Doug?
Yeah. They stopped making them 2 days ago, so they got to get rid of them somehow. So, yeah.
And they did it on coal trains in order to bring the coal jobs back.
So a miracle has happened here on Connect This. Good job, Trump administration, for getting the money to the states.
I find it funny that I feel like
Hallelujah.
every other episode has someone acting like that we never give credit where credit is due. Let's be very clear. Louisiana is getting half the money it was supposed to. The other half is going, we don't know where. It's not going to be getting out to where it was supposed to go. It's not going to be like actually being productive. We see Northeast Louisiana is not going to get anything. The most impoverished part of the nation getting totally cut off from this. But hey, they could get $120 a month Starlink service that they could got yesterday. And Elon Musk is about to cash a check on behalf of those people, the poorest people in the United States, to not serve them. That's awesome. Let's celebrate it.
Something else. If none of this had changed, Louisiana would have gotten their money in March. They were all.
No, that worked.
But they should have had it years ago.
In Carroll Parish, East Carroll Parish, they would be getting connected right now rather than looking at and trying to figure out where they can move themselves to get some decent internet access. How do you sell a house that doesn't have internet access in this year? Like, it's really actually not even funny to joke about, I think.
Well, no, but this should have been done 2-3 years ago, correct?
I would be fascinated to see, Travis, how you would have developed a plan to get everyone connected in 18 months.
I already told you I would have done it, but that they told a different way. So, actually, but you know what? Hallelujah, the money's out. Now let's see if anything happens.
No, the money is not out. Let's be clear. There's other changes that are coming. The money that still has to go through NIST. So maybe it will come out this year, maybe it won't. And this is one state that has gotten the money now.
Yeah, but that's still a huge victory, right? I mean, that in 2026 that we will have a BEAD funded connection. That it will be happening, Travis.
So let's go back in time, okay?
I agree with you. There's a lot of noise on this line, Kim, so I apologize. But,
two years ago,
we will have a connection.
2 years ago,
Kim. I don't know. Yeah.
2 years ago, we all felt like, and I think this is maybe a generalization, but I think it's pretty accurate. 2 years ago, we felt like we weren't going to be able to connect nearly as many people, right? It was on the order of 4 or 5 million locations. Alexis, what were we looking at that point?
I cannot remember 2 years ago. I know that I came on the show and I was sitting at the library because my AT&T was busted, and I remember Travis's skepticism that money would come out, and I actually wanted to bring up, who is the closest to being accurate on that bet from 2 years ago? And I'm trying to scroll through my memory to remember what we discussed back then. And I cannot. You have to forgive me.
I think Travis will be closest because he said never. And the Trump administration to just stop the program for 9 months. I want to go back to this for a second.
I can remind you of the lines. When BEAD started, there was 14 million eligible locations. By 2 years ago, we were down to around 8 million. And then we had the map challenges, which were horrible, and they cut it down to 4 million. And most of those 4 million actually should still be in. And so now they're awarding 4.5 million for this money. So one way they got the funding down was actually to reduce the location. So exactly. It didn't just come down because they chopped the funding. A lot of it is just there's less places to build. So. But yeah,
right, not because they're served, but because we just had to pretend that they were served.
Yes, there's a whole lot of places that are after this who are still not going to be served. But
I don't know. Well, make that
I expect by sometime next year. My bet is NTIA and the FCC maybe together will say we've solved the rural broadband gap. Everybody can get satellite. We're done. So that's the end of it. So
Right.
yep.
And I just feel like
Okay.
if we're going to do that, let's do it before we write a massive check to Starlink.
Right.
But I think we have to have the conversation of, even though it took this long, how many places are now served because private companies did go out and build them in this time frame as well, of what happened there to save some of the federal money, because that did happen. I think people are
It did
not
happen.
addressing that. I agree that there's going to be places that are unserved. I think the biggest problem with this BEAD funding is that people are going to build crappy networks, and we're going to be rebuilding them in 10 years because
Absolutely.
people are just building them and ditching them.
Yeah, there's no way that's not happening with a bunch of this stuff. Like I want to ask Matt Larson this when he comes on, is like, how does he fund in 5 years rebuilding that wireless network he's about to build with government dollars? And he may have a very good answer, but I will trust him on it. I will not trust the next 10 WISPs that say the same thing, because they are not him. So there, and that's not to say there's not another good WISP, but like there's a lot of like people.
And there are not very many WISPs who won BEAD. They really got way less than they ever thought. Tirana's saying they got way less than half of what
we
they
called
thought
this.
they would.
I called this. I said it was going to satellite. Once they started changing the rules, I was like, this is about getting money to Elon Musk. And frankly, the thing that frustrates me is that so much money is going to Kuiper. Like, I don't understand this. Sasha and I did a podcast on this yesterday on the Community Broadband Bits channel. And for the life of me, I don't think you can square giving money to Starlink under the rules that are there. But at least Starlink has a chance of performing. Kuiper has no chance of performing. Like, it's ridiculous that like the number of locations they're getting is what, it's hundreds of thousands. It's crazy.
They have like 306,000 right now, and it's going to go up as these things keep happening. Yeah. So, it's there's still a whole lot of craziness here, but I don't want to throw a wet blanket on this, but there's still a chance that no BEAD money goes out. So this is not done yet.
So I don't know.
What about all the pennies in Louisiana, Doug? We just talked about the pennies in Louisiana.
Well, so this is a topic that I want to know if Alexis, did you want to talk about BEAD at all before we talk about AI and BEAD?
BEAD at all before we talk about AI and BEAD? The only thing that I think is really important to point out is that if there's any state broadband offices or consultants on the call watching us right now, there are affordances that NTI has structured for states to take advantage of in their subgrantee agreements with monitoring and compliance, in particular when it comes to speed test monitoring and like LEO compliance. And so probably not a topic to delve into in this moment, but there are for those states that are kind of like in the, seeing the headlights of the train come at them and trying to get all these subgrantee agreements ironed out and all the details and feeling disempowered. There are some tips and tricks and things in the policy as it stands right now. That may change. But pay attention to that. And of course, always reach out to me and everybody on this call for some advice surrounding how you can use it as a sword and a shield.
Well,
Kim,
never reach out to me, but I did have one question. Have we seen any states go more satellite than fiber at all?
Montana.
Oh yeah.
Montana.
Yeah, let me.
Yeah.
Montana went 65%.
65. Because I just think it's interesting because there was this big scare that fiber wasn't going to win, but it does seem that fiber is still winning most of the battles, even though that some states are a little.
Yeah, no, if you look at Texas, my sense of what happened when I was looking at the numbers was that Texas decided where they were going to fight for fiber and where they were going to give people up and abandon them, and that's what happened.
And I can see that Texas worked real hard for that, and I'm proud. I'm proud of my state. Thank you for fighting for us.
Now, one thing that happened, a lot of the broadband offices threw their hands up with these last rule changes. Once fiber couldn't be assigned, they went straight to the cheapest one. They could have stopped in the middle. They could have given money to fixed wireless who still fit under their price cap. They went straight to the bottom. I think they were tired of it. They were cynical. And they went, okay, you want the cheapest, you get the cheapest. And so I think we really saw a lot of that. I expect a third of the state broadband managers to quit next year. They're all completely disgusted by this process. So, yeah.
And I hope they write books that like at least 5 of us will read.
Yeah. Well, I think that's at least 5 sales right here.
A book? Who reads a book? I'm just uploading to the cloud all day, not reading books.
Okay. How about, will you listen to an ebook?
Thank you.
It'll be read by Chris. Yeah.
That sounds awful. Alexis, is there anything else you wanted to share before we move on?
No, just, hang in there. Everybody who's involved in this, it's going to be a long slog as we turn the corner here, and more. I think that Doug is absolutely right. More changes will come. We don't know what they are. We're keeping our ear to the ground and trying to communicate with each other and be vulnerable and be kind to everyone, because this has been so crazy. And so as we round into the holiday season, and those of you behind a keyboard until 10 o'clock at night, trying to figure this stuff out, you're not alone. And when this is all over, we're going to have a really big party.
Yeah. Also, Doug Adams at Broadband.io, which is like part of that Ready team, I think, that you're on, Alexis. Doug's done a lot of real work in trying to collect this information and spread it. So thanks to him for all that. All right, Alexis, you can drop. Thank you. Doug, you hinted that the final shoe may not have dropped. I don't know what the expression is, but that something else might be going on. There is an EO about AI, that executive order from the Trump administration.
EIAIO. Wait, there's a song here. Yes, there is a draft executive order that's expected to drop, and it's been discussed for 2 or 3 weeks, and that's to tie AI regulation into all sorts of other things. And so the federal government really wants to kill all state regulation of AI. They simply want to say only the feds can regulate AI. And so if they pass that, and if it's not passed, it's an executive order, that executive order draft also says two very specific things about BEAD. It says any state who has an AI regulation, if they won't get rid of it, they will not get non-deployment funds. And it says that any state who won't get rid of it could lose all of their BEAD funding, even for the infrastructure. Now, I don't know how good or bad that sounds, but only 4 states don't have AI regulation. So almost everybody has it. And most of the regulations are exactly what you would expect would be. States have passed regulations that say, if you defraud somebody with AI, that's just the same as defraud them any other way. That's bad. So they're not really regulating AI. They're saying AI is another reason to not do ABCD, but that's an AI regulation.
Yeah, they've said like you can't do deep fakes right before elections of candidates and
stuff like that. All sorts of stuff like that.
Now, at the same time, I mean, on the other end, I will say it's not like they're all like that. Like Colorado, for instance,
there's some real AI regulations.
Right. So Colorado, for instance, is specifically concerned about the results of AI being biased in certain ways. I think that, that's the one that is like I would say legitimately a concern for the AI industry, whereas a lot of this stuff is just like lobbyists just trying to lobby, I think.
So if this executive order gets signed, and it's expected to be signed this week, the problem is state broadband offices can't do anything about this. They have zero power.
It's completely illegal. It's just like the Congress makes the laws, and the Trump administration is going to just totally change this around in a way. The courts will ultimately find that this is not enforceable. But as you've said many times before, Doug, the states can't wait for courts to go through all of this. They're not going to file the lawsuits. And so it's just going to be a giant mess.
But states can't react quickly. This all has to be done by legislators. This can't be done by state broadband offices. Half of I went and looked this morning. Most of the states aren't even in session right now. There's nothing they can do about it. They come out and go, you have 30 days to get rid of your AI or you lose your funding. They're all going to lose their funding. And there's very few states who are going to kill their AI regulations. They're going to go, no, our legislature passed that, go to hell. So this could kill BEAD completely.
I don't think it will. I agree with you that it could. I think we'll see what happens. Don't forget,
it could put it on hold until to the lawsuits, which means it'll kill it. Yeah.
But
wait, don't let Travis win the bet that BEAD money will never go out. Don't let Travis win, Doug. Come on.
I don't know. Travis was a very bold prediction there.
So for people who don't remember, we've talked about this before. We said the sky was falling with this. Senator Cruz was pushing this legislation, an amendment to a bill that would have put this into law the way it actually has to work, through Congress doing it and then the president signing it. And it became so unpopular, he voted against his own bill. The Senate totally rejected this approach. And now the Trump administration, who as about the popularity of Senator Cruz is decided to do it on their own, without it being, I don't want to say illegally, because it's like, it's unconstitutionally, perhaps is the way to put it. So
No,
I
they
just
haven't done it. They haven't done it yet, and it may not happen. Obviously, lots of people are lobbying, but the federal government in general is very pro AI right now. Yes, the AI companies. So, and there's nothing wrong with that, but but for these states who have very benign AI regulations, this is crazy because the feds will not properly regulate all that little stuff.
Mhm.
I mean, we've killed the FTC. I mean, who's going to do that? So, yeah.
Okay, we're gonna move on unless there's anything else on BEAD, Travis, Kim.
No opinion. I'm impressed. Things are moving though.
I just think it's funny. Like, it's just one of those things. Like, Travis likes to use words to describe anything. It doesn't matter if it fits reality or not. He just likes to use words to say things.
I'm just, things are happening. So however they're happening, they're happening.
Things are happening. Why is Chris more on edge today than other days? It's been really fascinating watching NTIA decide that it would just stop the tribal broadband connectivity program. We've worked with some of these tribes, and we see reporter after reporter saying like, oh, they're going to reduce red tape in terms of delaying getting these funds out. These are small tribes that often put up money that they barely had in time that they absolutely do not have to work through months and months of planning to get a broadband grant to bring infrastructure to their area, which no one has wanted to invest in. They've been waiting for approval on it, and now they're being told they can reapply next year, after having wasted all these funds because Trump just decided he's going to cut the red tape. It's just the most ridiculous thing where, once again, we just see people saying, we're going to use these words, and then you have the press refuse to actually question whether or not this is an honest representation of what's happening. And we're watching this money basically being taken from tribes, and they're getting screwed over once again. It's really, really awful to watch.
And if they don't get it now, they're never going to get it. It's just going to die, like all the other ones. Yeah. So.
I mean, let's be honest, but the press doesn't question not just this. They don't really question anything anymore. So, I mean, this is just one aspect that we don't really have investigative reporters anymore.
I don't know. I had a reporter call me and ask if Travis is really retired.
Oh, yeah, he is. And he took to it like a fish to water, let me tell you. Yeah. But you know what? I was driving through Branson, Missouri, down here to Arkansas, or where am I at? Oklahoma, and I did not appreciate some of the geography issues they deal with out here. Wow, trying to build fiber.
Is tough.
Yeah, and you know what? If we had some sort of federal program that would just get it done once, we would see 30, 40, 50 years of benefits. And now they're going to get LEO. But that's okay, Travis, because it's better than fiber, according to you.
They were still digging a lot of fiber. Somebody was doing it. So
yeah, the electric co-ops in Missouri actually really, really good. There was
a lot of fiber being put in, but I really felt bad for these guys doing the work. Oh my, that was some terrible environment up and down these mountains and stuff. Wow, I don't know what it's like by you, Doug, but hundreds of miles of nothing.
This is thousands of miles long and hundreds of miles wide. The entire Appalachia. Yeah.
Yeah, this is exactly why it's so frustrating that we've decided not to take this effort seriously and instead decided to write a check to a company that already has its satellites up in the air.
But let's go back yet again that Elon Musk did not win like everybody said they would. So I know you're angry about that, but I think it's a victory that fiber still won to the capacity that they did with the new regulations. So let's celebrate the good things, Christopher.
I find it remarkable. Like it is unambiguously a good thing, Kim, that so much fiber is still being built.
Thank you for being positive. We're almost to Thanksgiving. We need to be thankful for something.
You're right. At the same time, it is somewhat frustrating to see so much of this money going to a technology that doesn't actually qualify under the rules. But like, hey, I'm just some moron who actually thinks rules should be followed.
But
Chris always has a however. He always has a however.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with you. I would not want to run a fiber network out in these rural areas. You know how difficult that would be, running hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles.
Right? No, Travis, you're so right.
Yeah.
So like you should not do it, right? Yeah. Like this is
I'm not going to do it.
That have been providing these services. These are lifeline services. Like, and so the preference of a private sector operator to like not see a business case for being able to do this is fundamentally different from saying communications are a essential service that we need to figure out. right? Like it's a totally different thing. Like, yeah. And you know what? Like, it's a really dumb idea to build electricity out to all those places, but every single one of us has benefited because we made that illogical decision, and it created massive productivity benefits. It created a better life for millions of people. Like, that's what we're supposed to be doing.
Okay, but I need to call you on this electricity argument because I don't think it bears water. 100% of the customers will be your electric customer. You maybe will get 30 to 50% of customers to be your broadband customer. They're not the same.
We talked about the Berkshires, 90%.
90%. I knew he was going to go back to that one case.
Travis, like, we have electric cooperatives that are building. We have United. We've got Como. We've got the Ozarks is more in Arkansas, the Northern Ozarks. Like, there's probably on the order of 10 to 20 electric co-ops, maybe 30 in those areas who have built out. You know what their take rates are? They're in the order of 60 to 70% or more in many cases. Their customers are mostly on middle or higher tiers.
Do you know the financial difference between 60% and 100%?
Yes, no, I get it, Travis. But like, they're making it work. You're sitting here telling me it can't happen. I'm telling you it is happening, and you're saying, but it's really hard.
They're leveraging their electric network. Do just a fiber only operator and do out in these rural areas and only get 60%. Right. You're dead.
So, Travis, the point of this show is not to say just like what could be done with a private balance sheet or what could be done, is to say, what do we have to do to make this work? For electricity, we chose to have state regulation, and I actually spent a fair amount of my time thinking about this, and my team at the Institute for Local Self-Reliance works on these issues of like, how should we change the way we deal with these industries to maximize benefits for communities? And so in electricity, we decided as a country that we should have a monopoly system. We decided we should not have a telephone monopoly system anymore. And so that changed communications. But like, we still see significant benefits, and there are other policy tools available to make sure we can get good communications out to everyone, rather than saying, hey, on your behalf, we're giving money to the world's richest man, and if you can't see enough of the sky to get a good service, hey, too bad, you should move somewhere somehow. I don't know. That's not a serious policy.
I don't know. No, I disagree with you, because I can get where I'm at right now. I've got 4 different providers that I have access to, and I'm in the middle of nowhere and nothing. And you know what? This Starlink is freaking amazing. You can whine about who owns it, and you can do all you want, but I love
this argument that, and I'm going to let Doug come in.
Works.
I'll just stop right there. All right. Let me just say, I have never disputed that. If you look at my writing, I talk constantly about how this is amazing and it's a great technology. But I try to be realistic with it. Unlike you, who's someone who's like, oh, it's so great, and you're never going to have it in your new house. How are you going to connect your new house? You're going to be a Starlink customer?
Yeah, I'm going to be Starlink and fiber.
All right, we'll see. I mean, it's fiber. Why would you do fiber? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
What if the fiber's down? You can't be disconnected.
No, I understand why you would do the fiber.
Having a generator for your electricity.
You're the one that's saying Starlink is amazing, but you don't trust it. So go ahead. I just want to give Doug a chance.
But I was
going to go to Doug. I'm trying to give Doug a chance.
Let's go back to what Travis said about the electricity. You got to remember, here's how we funded electricity. 50-year loans, 0% interest. They completely paid them back. Only 4 or 5 co-ops defaulted on those loans. And so that made it affordable. You spread it out over that many years. The government got their money back. So it didn't really cost anything. We could have done that with this broadband. 0% loans to build these networks would have been better than the B grants probably. So we could have done it. There's all sorts of ways that we could have made this work. We picked a way that's really controversial, and it was a mess from the beginning, and then it got messier, and then it really got messier. I mean, this is just, I'll be so glad the day comes when I don't have to talk about BEAD anymore. I can't wait.
Remember Matt's idea of the, what do you call it? Industrial bank or something?
Infrastructure bank.
Still the best idea I've heard. And Doug, that plays into
and I've been pushing infrastructure banks for 20 years. We just don't have them here. A couple states have them, but we need
North Dakota. Alexis's favorite state has one.
We need a federal one, and we've never put one out there. And that's
why
a really great
don't
idea.
You think we do have a federal infrastructure bank, Doug?
Because it would compete with Wall Street banks, and they don't want anybody. Just like Comcast doesn't want anyone else to compete, those big Wall Street guys don't want anyone else to have any piece of of the market.
Well, that and additionally, the federal structure is geared to be responsive to the big communications companies too, and they don't see any benefit of an infrastructure bank. The infrastructure bank would be good for smaller providers, and nobody in DC, I shouldn't say put it that way. Very few people in DC care about them. It's something that my organization works on trying to improve.
I mean, it would be for the Matt Larsons of the world, and I don't know. He may not want 50-year, 0%.
Well, the problem,
but it's guys like him who would be.
Well, and there's going to be fewer Matt Larsons as time moves forward.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely. Yeah.
You saying he's going to retire?
Well,
no,
one
I'm
thing
just
is
saying
for
that it's hard to compete with the big guys. Yeah, so you have
It's going to be the
thing's for
M&A.
Yeah.
There's a lot
M&A
less
culture.
Travis Carters these days. That's for damn sure.
There's one less. There's one less. But yeah, I think we're about to go in from BEAD to M&A. Like we're already seeing the M&A stuff happen in big ways. I think it's going to continue for the next 5 years. So it's going to be the consolidation. So I think that's when you're going to see less people like Matt Larson building to the scale that he is.
Yeah.
I wanted to give our audience frickin' lasers. Jordan, if you look at the notes from the stupid department, there is an article here, and this is one of those things that will immediately in 5 minutes leave Travis's brain as I defend Starlink. There's this article from dailygalaxy.com about the headline is Chinese satellite crushes Starlink with a 2-watt laser fired in space. And if you dig into this article, it actually is really quite amazing what they've done. Doug, you and I talked very briefly about this on the podcast that you and I just did on Community Broadband Bits. But I get so annoyed at these articles, which you would hope would be balanced in some way. But Doug, did you have anything you wanted to say about it?
Well, that's a very unique use case. It's from one location. It's not the same as duplicating in a million places. And they did it from a fixed satellite way up high versus a moving one. It's interesting, but it's not generally applicable.
Right. I mean,
like everything.
So,
yeah.
And actually, I think you and I talked about it briefly. I did talk more about it with Sasha actually than you.
Yeah.
But like 36,000 kilometers, Travis. Do you know what the ping is on that just from the speed of light?
I was actually going to look it up. What is it, like
120 milliseconds?
Yeah, it's like 180 round trip or something.
That's a perfect round trip. Yeah.
Yeah, like if you have nothing else. And so like I'm just so tired of this idea of like you have people reading this article who are like, oh, well, like these SpaceX guys are idiots for putting up all these satellites. We just need a few of them. It's so frustrating. I like to throw this out there for people to understand. There is cool tech out there. Holding a laser shot over 36,000 kilometers for like the length of time that they did in order to transfer gigabits of data. Pretty cool. Not going to be super useful. It is just basically a better version of HughesNet. And HughesNet, the other piece of news I wanted to cover. Travis, are you surprised that HughesNet is going to be selling its customers to Starlink?
No, not surprised. Not surprised at all.
No, it's obvious, right? It was inevitable.
They haven't looked viable for
years.
Used
HughesNet?
Yeah.
Yes. And not only that, but I've also gotten my big mouth has gotten me in trouble where I made the point that basically the only people that use HughesNet are people that accidentally sign their contracts, which are brutal and pretty much dishonest, I would say. And then they get out of them as soon as possible.
Weren't you on a main stage when you said that?
I was in a video call, and immediately behind the scenes, I started getting a chat from a fellow panelist who was actually from Viasat in that case, who said that she had never been more disrespected by someone than me when I pointed out that there are millions of people who want high quality internet access who have chosen not to take their service, and that we should take the evidence seriously.
Well, I just want to say you've disrespected a lot of other people too. So.
Well, I try not to disrespect the audience, though. This is the thing, and that's why I get so annoyed at these articles. I try to say what I think is really true as best as as best as we know it, and try to like share even where our analysis might be weak. But I find it so frustrating to see some of these distortions and things like that. So even if my trying to bring some reality to the discussion around Starlink upsets Travis because it's too critical, I'm going to continue doing it.
Hey, that's what we're here for, Chris.
Actually, so there's a couple of comments here. In Chris's defense, they had it coming. Well, being the satellite company, they had it coming for a long time. It just took a while to get there.
To be fair, when you said HughesNet, I haven't heard that name in years. So it was like, oh, I had to kind of go back into the archive.
Kim, do you? I don't know if you and Doug or Travis. I don't. You may not have noticed it. Like, I feel like HughesNet would often operate under different names because their reputation is such garbage.
They went under 10 different brand names. Yeah, they kept.
Yeah.
Names, so.
Yeah.
But, I will give it to HughesNet for years and years and years. They did provide basic internet service to a lot of people. To
places where you had no other option.
You had no other option. So I mean, I'm not going to totally say that they're ridiculous, but given the options that are available today.
Well, back in those days when they were giving you 5 megabits, you might also only had DSL that was less than that. But it really wasn't bad for the time. So yeah.
Well,
no, the issue is the dishonesty in the contracts and like the way they would get people locked into the contracts. That's my problem. Like, you can say this technology is not perfect, but it is out there and it deserves to be in the marketplace. Absolutely. It's where they get away with these dirty tricks and like locking the contracts.
No, the contracts would be by the 4th day of the month, you would have used all your usage, and then you had to pay a fortune to actually stay online. It was crazy. So yeah.
And boy, tough to use too. If you ever used it before, it's a tough one.
Yep. All right. We'd hope to talk about this. I will say that I do want to talk about lasers at some point. I don't know where we're going to fit it in now, but it might be January. So funny enough, this laser technology, it's pretty cool. I know some people that have used it, and it works really well when it's not cloudy, less so when it is cloudy, but it's pretty cool. So I was hoping we could talk about it.
We tried it building to building, and it works good until there's any rain, any fog, any moisture, any attenuation whatsoever.
So Travis, can't they just this is the question that I had. Like, for that shot that they went through the atmosphere for 36 kilometers, a 2-watt laser, I think, is what they were using. Do you have the sense that was powerful enough to burn through any water that was there, or they just did it on an clear day?
I think they waited for a clear day or a clear night and did it, and then they were able to do some press on it.
And they might have also beamed it down to a high mountain in Tibet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's think of it. That's what a fiber optic connection is, a laser, and it happens to be inside of a glass tube, so there's no attenuation. I mean, it's the same stuff. It's just running through the atmosphere.
That's something else we should do. Hollow core. Should we talk about this at some point? Get an expert on.
Sure.
Yeah, this laser one is interesting though, because it is in the last 30 years, it has iterated the technology, but it always has the same problem. It would be fun to hear if they've come up with something new and clever. I just have never.
I think they use microwave backup, but we'll
they do. But I know Starlink. But coming back to Starlink, was talking about laser between the satellites. I haven't heard.
They are using that. Here again, I was defending this to some skeptics who are claiming that they've talked about this but haven't implemented it. And so I dug into it as best I could. I didn't find hard evidence, but it seems like they have achieved many. I think they are using satellites and they're using lasers between satellites and many of their recent launches.
Great.
Right now they're beta testing it. The version 3 satellites that come out and starting first quarter will all have it. So assuming
Starship can get them up in orbit.
Assuming they can get them up in orbit. Those things are 5,000 pounds each. They're launching Volkswagens now.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big old heavy satellite. So yeah.
So one more Starlink piece of trivia that I wanted to bring out here because I knew it'd get Chris going crazy. I was under the impression before this trip that you needed to have a pretty good view of the sky. Now with the amount of satellites that are up there, I mean, I had a 15-degree angle and was getting internet no problem. So,
and I've just heard from other people who have not had that experience. So it may depend on where you are.
It depends on where you are because north south. Yeah, it depends where you are.
Yeah, no. Again, I'm just using my my experience on the road here. I thought I was not going to have internet, and it never stopped. So.
No, let's be honest, Travis. You just wanted to end this show by praising Starlink and Elon Musk again.
I'm pretty neutral on technology anymore, but this stuff is pretty clever.
I was prepared to sort of root for Elon Musk when he challenged Zuckerberg to a cage fight. I was really disappointed when he chickened out like a little baby man and decided to pretend he didn't have it. And then he challenged Jon Stewart to a debate, and then he chickened out like a little baby man. The man makes all kinds of claims, and then he just chickens out like a little baby man.
He makes such good technology, Chris.
In some cases he does. In other cases, he takes his boring company and dumps sludge into the waterways. It's really quite remarkable if you dig into it. Well, for the 8 people who are still chugging along on YouTube, I don't know what we have on the other platforms, but
If we haven't got rid of them yet, we're not trying.
I got a little hot under the collar.
Can I say one final thing, Chris? Apologize.
Please.
I want to apologize to the audience. I was really on a mission here to get you going, and I used all the Trump tricks, all the Musk tricks, all the Starlink tricks, and you just didn't quite go there. So
I feel like I got going. I feel like my face is red. I'm sweating. I'm a little tired. I got to pull it back together for a Community Broadband Bits podcast recording in 15 minutes. So
all right.
I
I promise
got
everyone I have the ultimate thing to get him going next time, and we'll wait till then.
If you're gonna get me more going, there might be like stuff flying around here as I just like really get it up. So
well, I'm gonna be in Texas when I do it because it'll take you a long time to get to me. So
well, I don't know when we're gonna do the next show, but it probably won't be next week during Thanksgiving. I hope people have a wonderful holiday with family and loved ones and all that. But we'll find another time to get back at you. We will have some sort of year in review at some point to look back at our predictions and things like that, and yeah, we'll figure out the schedule and announce it as best we can. But thank you all for watching. Last comments, Doug?
I'm getting tired because I thought you said we'd have a urine review. So
My final comment is that I am just very going into Thanksgiving. I'll say it again. I'm very thankful of these kind of goofballs. But second of all, I am thankful that we are starting to see money flow and people are going to get connected. So, and happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Yes, there's a lot of people out there working through all manner of weather conditions, working day and night, trying to get people well connected, and thank them for their labor. And let's just hope that they're out there. Jordan, we're about to quit. I'm just giving you my little. Let's hope they're out there mapping their fiber. Remember, folks, map your fiber.